Hello everyone, Grandmaster VAR Akobian, and we're going to take a look at another game from round number 2 of the GM section from the St. Louis event. So this is the game between FIDE Master Alexander KRETCHETOV and against FIDE Master Gauri Shankar. And the opening is Nimzo Indian Defense. A very, very nice opening, very solid opening for black. And highly recommend to players who are looking for some openings against d4. I think it's a very good opening choice. So here he played the move e3, so which transposes into a Rubinstein variation. Another option here is to play queen c2, which will be the classical variation. The classical line goes like this: castle, a3, takes b3, and this is the classical variation: bishop g5, bishop b7. And basically, you're trying to fight for the e4 square. This is your primary target, to fight for the e4 square. So, but instead of that, white decided to play the move e3, castles, and bishop d2. This is becoming a more popular setup. Normally, white always pretty much exclusively plays bishop d3, d5, knight f3. And here white can play, black can play c5.
Classic.
Takes, and can lead to lines like this: knight d7, a3, takes, b6, bishop d3 to push e4, bishop b7, and black goes knight 4. So it's a very, very, very interesting line. And this is actually one of my games as black, so I won this game. And yeah, it's a good setup for black. You have a good control of the center of the e4 square. But white is doing well as well. With the pair of the bishops and this nice bishop on b2 is a very, very good diagonal pressure. So I think this is very, very comfortable for both sides. But this is how the theory can develop in the main line. But in the game, bishop d2 was played, which takes away a lot of the theory. b6, knight f3. 7, and position is roughly equal here. I guess both players felt a little bit tired, so they wanted to call it play it safe. So both are FIDE masters, so I wanted to get on the scoreboard. I think they both lost the first game, so they didn't want to go to with the losses, so they wanted to bounce back. So they played it safe here. The game ended in a draw. So how the game, let's say if they had continued, how the game would have developed. So I think something like bishop d3 could be played. Here, black can take, and immediately go for the bishop. Attacking this, rook c1, d6, castles. And as soon as the castles here, you already see that black is going to try to keep the bishop away. And you don't want that, because we know the value of the bishops is a little bit more than knights. So here I wouldn't want the opponent to go bishop, so I would just take. And also you take away the 2 bishop advantage from the opponent, knight d7. Queen e7, and you just continue to play this position. Very solid position for both players. So this is how the theory would develop. The game could have continued, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, but again, one thing to learn about the Nimzo Indian, you always have to control the e4 square. If you don't control the e4 square in a close Nimzo Indian position, that means you did something wrong, and you're going to be in trouble. So you have to try to control the e4 square.
Can I ask a question about draw motivation? I understand like they wanted to get on the scoreboard, but as far as like whether to play for repetition or just to agree, is there like an etiquette, or is there standards and like in the rules of professional chess of like X number of moves that are needed before this agreement can be met?
It's basically, and every tournament there could be rules of like we didn't have a particular rule in this tournament that you cannot, but I might implement a rule in the future. Let's say 20 or 30 moves minimum.
Yeah.
Played.
Because I think that at least gets you to the Berlin draw, and like at least gets you to like there was chances for the game to break away.
If the players want to make a draw, they can make a draw.
Yeah.
They can decide how to.
It can
So
be
there's
100
no way you can
moves.
prevent
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot prevent that, but normally there's a 30 move no draw rule, sometimes 40 moves, sometimes no draw move at all. Like some of the bigger money prize money tournaments, they say no draw offers, so that it eliminates everything from the offering draw to the opponents.
But that's when you get the bomb clouds and stuff like that, right? Because like if you can't stop players from just repeating a position, like you can stop them.
Well,
but
not at this level. Bomb clouds and stuff you don't really get at a very high level. People would play like an online chess maybe for fun.
I meant
don't think
more like both
play,
players, like let's say both players are like in this position here, right? And so they want to get on the board and they know each other, they're friends, right? And so when they did that move, it was like kind of a hat tip to them. It was like, hey, do you want to go home? It's like, yeah. So like in the Magnus Nakamura variation is like what I'm thinking of, right? Right, and it's like a meltwater event, and they played that. Was that just because the event didn't matter?
Yeah,
Or
that was just they were just having fun.
okay,
They're
that
not
was
gonna
just
do this.
teasing.
They're not gonna do this in a real tournament.
Yeah,
So
because then that's an
like in
opportunity
over
for
the board.
someone to
Yeah,
try to kill them, basically. So they would
yeah,
never open
yeah,
themselves up
yeah.
to that.
No, they
Makes
wouldn't.
sense.
They wouldn't do this in a real tournament. So, but yeah.
Perfect.
Anyway, these are the ideas for the Nimzo Indian guys. Control the e4 square. So that's what you want to remember. Okay, controlling the e4 square. Okay, this concludes this game. So, and we learn a little bit more about the Nimzo Indian defense, guys.